Olson.
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity to go ahead and present some of the hopes and aspirations that I have for this upcoming legislature. As we look at this new turn of events that's happened within this last several months with the recent elections, the outcome of the elections, and especially with this new administration, as well as the bipartisan working group that's happening here in the Senate, there's a lot of hope and a lot of issues that need to be taken care of, and certainly a lot of expectations that are happening. Obviously, the biggest issue that has come up before the Alaska people has to do with the possibility of the building of the natural gas pipeline that's going to bring North Slope gas down to the markets in the lower 48 and other markets even around the world. And so that's one of the big issues that we're dealing with. It's the biggest free enterprise capital project that's been happening. Somewhere between $20 and $25 billion has been slated as far as the estimate for the building this monstrosity, this new pipeline to bring natural gas and energy, affordable energy, down to the rest of the people that are in need of it. That's the first thing. The other thing has to do with some of the changes that and the message that we heard from the people, both statewide as well as nationwide, is how they want their governments to be run. Obviously, ethics has been a very big issue that has happened both nationally and within the state here. Because of the concerns that has gone on, we see that there's been a changing of the guard. People have realized that it's not going to be business as normal. Certainly the partisanship that has been shown over the last number of years has been noticed by the public, and they're not necessarily in favor of it, have been in favor of this bipartisan working group that's here in the state. And so with that, there is a good representation within the Senate from all reaches of Alaska to go ahead and make sure that their voices are heard as we deal with some of the issues. As we look at the cost of things like energy in rural Alaska, it's obviously one of the areas that I represent. I represent the North Slope borough, the North Slope people, as well as people down in the lower Kuskokwim, Yukon area, and the Wade Hampton area is the poorest area within the state. And so with that diversity, we see a very broad spectrum of people and lifestyles, as well as income, and the ability to go and handle some of the global impacts that are happening here on the economic status of people living at home. And so I see that some of those challenges that are out there, for example, the issue of education. One of the very important things that I see is that education is one of those things that is going to determine the kind of lifestyle that you live. And with that, I see the education funding and the opportunity for the next generation coming up that's going to be taking care of us when we get old, to go ahead and start to take its effect, as well as to make its mark, and have that opportunity for these young people that are coming up, this next generation, to make so that they can maximize their benefits that are there. Obviously, as we look at some of the other issues that are within the state of Alaska, in the metropolitan areas, we're seeing increased in violence with the gang situation that's going on, as well as some of the aberrant behavior that we're going to try and curtail here within the state of Alaska. As we look at this new administration that's coming on, it's certainly going to be some groundbreaking opportunities that are out there. We've already seen it happen with the first woman becoming the governor of the state of Alaska, and also the youngest person in her early 40s who has now stepped up to the plate to go ahead and lead this state into a very important time in history, where the natural gas pipeline is going to be one of the predominant factors that are out there to determine what the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years are going to be like for the state of Alaska. And so with that, I look forward to this time and opportunity. I look forward to the people that are going to be working here. We've got a changing of the guard to a certain degree, with the torch has been passed, essentially, as President Kennedy said to this generation, to the people that are now in. With that, I am very optimistic about what's going on, and certainly I'm looking forward to this time period to be marked with wise decisions, and we covet the prayers of those people that are out there to make sure that we as legislators are held and expected to perform in a very honorable way.